Alright, so here's the ship, and here we have an incredibly sharp spike. So, let's see what happens when the ship goes directly into this spike. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am back in Floating Sandbox, and I am continuing the Build-A-Ship series. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos on this series, a link will be in the top right corner. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I've got to thank you for continuing your suggestions in the comments. They are what makes this series run. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into some of your suggestions. Now, we're going to start out with the biggest one so far, and that is a boiler room. You guys really want to see me put the boilers in the ship, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're also going to be building a cafe, so thank you for the commenters that suggested that. And then we're going to be building some vents. Now that's going to be pretty cool because that'll allow water to pour down into the ship from the decks above. And that should be pretty cool to see. So let's go ahead and let's get to building. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is build the vents into the ship, so this should be pretty interesting because we've got to work them through the interior spaces and try not to destroy anything we've already built, which is luckily not a lot. Now, in some cases, you'll see these vents right in front of the funnel or right behind the funnel on ships, and we're going to have a bit of a problem with that, especially with the bridge, because, well, the bridge is right up against the funnel. So if we built a vent down through, then it would have to cut into the interior spaces. But I think I have a solution. So what if we added a vent into the funnel casing itself? I know, it's crazy, but hear me out. If we put in a grill right at the base of the funnel, just above the roof of the officers' quarters, that could go down the front of the funnel and act as a vent. So why don't we try something like that? Now, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, and it's basically just this, and then I erase the space in between. Now, we don't have anything cluttering the decks, we don't have our interior spaces being messed with, but we do have ventilation, so that's good. And of course, we want water to flood into these vents, because if the ship's sinking, it would be really cool to see how the water traverses through the interior portions of the vessel, so we're going to open up these spaces. Now, what I'm going to do here for the passenger spaces, and also crew spaces, is add in floor vents. I think that might be pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, I can't really do it with the dining room because, well, it would jut into where the dining room is built, and the balconies would be really small. Now, I don't know, maybe I do want to shorten the dining room to add in a vent. It would make it symmetrical on either side. And zooming out, it sort of bugs me that there's this space here. So we might have to sacrifice part of the dining room to build in our ventilation. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be unfortunate, but it'll look alright once we have it done, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so there we go, and now that I'm looking at it, the dining room doesn't look too bad with those portions cut off, so we're good. Now, I think this would be a good time to move over to the cafe and start working on that. Now, you guys suggested something like a Cafe Parisien. I would assume you're talking about Titanic, and you wanted to see some plants dotted around, so that's the sort of design we're going to go for. And I think I actually built this into the ship we built in the first series, so yeah, this should be sort of straightforward. Now I'm going to build it just aft of the third funnel, and yeah, let's get to work. So I'm going to put in this lighter wood color, and I guess that looks alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in the plants. We'll put them right between the windows, so that will be the planters right there. Now let's go ahead and get a green wood, so we'll do something like that. And I'll finish it off with a bit of a lighter green. Now I can go ahead and add in our seats, and these look relatively simplistic. There we are. And one thing I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm actually going to add in windows in this space because I feel it is really lacking. So I'm just going to build it in like that, and that looks a little bit better. Now on to building some boilers, so let's get to it. So I'm going to come up with a design here. I think we're just going to make a traditional style boiler. Now that we've got our base design, I can actually detail this. So I can put in some vertical supports. This will make it stand out more than just being one solid color. And I'm going to put some glass in to represent the open end of the boiler there. And now I can simply copy and paste. Alright, so there we go. We've got 3 rows of boilers there. We've got 1 for the forward section, 2 for the midsection, and then we have an open space, and that's where we're going to build our engine room, and we'll get into that later, but yeah, I guess we'll use that funnel as simply a dummy funnel for ventilation around the ship, and also for the engine room itself. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're not going to be able to have a skylight for the engine room, so why not put it where we can, and that would be underneath the third funnel. Now what I'm going to do is build in some scaffolding, because this still looks bare bones. So I'm just going to build out these floors like this, and now I will build in some spaces for the ladders to go down, and then using another material I can actually build in the ladder like this. And then to make it look like a ladder, I can just do that. I almost forgot, we should probably add in a coal bunker. Those tend to be pretty important. So I'll put one right between these two boilers here, and I'll draw in some coal like that, and there we are. And now I'll build one for the forward boiler room. However, we're going to have to change up the scaffolding design in that area. Alright, I think we are ready to go ahead and test sink this, so this should be pretty fun. Alright, so here we are in the ocean here. And this time around, let's put it out into deeper water. There we go. And I am going to test the ship against a single explosion. And then the next time around, we'll do something just absurd. And yeah, let's blow up the boiler room here. Alright, here we go. And there it is. Wow, that was a lot of water. And the ship is already starting to flood. Now, the double bottom hasn't been punctured, but it's not really going to make a difference in this case. The ship is still going to go down. Now, this is cheating a little bit, but if I put the ship under the water like this, you'll notice that the water is actually flooding down the ventilation, which is exactly what we want to do, and it floods the lower decks. But I'll go ahead and let it float back up here, and you'll see, actually, we've totally flooded the forward portion of the ship. Now, I'm interested to see how the water tackles this. We've got this angled piping here. I wonder if that's going to slow the water down, or it's not really going to make a difference. We'll find out. You know, as this goes down, I think we might see the entire ship sink, because I have opened up the stern portion with the ventilation, and that is definitely going to allow this section to flood. Maybe not these areas back here right down at the bottom of the ship, but yeah, it'll be enough to pull the ship down. There's the dome. The dome is about to flood. It's about to be a waterfall in just a minute. There it is. Water is cascading down the staircase. And that is only going to bring the ship down even further. There it goes. Yeah, I think once the dining room starts to flood, it'll just go down super quick. And there goes the dining room, rapidly flooding. You can see water crashing down into the room, flooding through the ventilation system. It is a full-on disaster here on board the ship. The cafe is now at a very high angle. I would imagine everything inside would be crashing down. It would be a disaster, really. As the ship goes under, the hydrostatic pressure is increasing, and it's forcing water up into all of these empty spaces in the ship. So anything that has an air pocket will eventually fill with water, with the exception of these spaces here that don't have any access to any other part of the ship. And it's gone. There we go. So yeah, that is actually the first time we've sunk the ship with traditional means, one single explosion or a cut in the side of the hull. So yeah, let's do something really catastrophic. Alright, so here's the ship, and here we have an incredibly sharp spike. So let's see what happens when the ship goes directly into this spike. Well, it immediately splits in half. I'm not that surprised about that result there. And let's go ahead and let's use the laser cannon to finish this off. So we'll set some of this on fire, and there we go. I'm seeing if I can split this in two before it falls off. And there it is. The ship is split in half. Well, folks, I think we've seen enough here. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll see y'all next time, guys. Goodbye.